What's up, my fellow Jews, goys and goyms, ladies and gentlemen? This is thy fellow Sloptuber Pizza Bomber here, and today we're gonna expose a certain imbecile by the name of RTX Dashie. I'm pretty sure some of y'all might have already know her and some may not know, but this is a fairly popular ranker with over 300 subscribers and is honored for her creativity of music. RTX Dashie just turned 13 years old last month and already involved in multiple unnecessary dramas. And now, a few things I want to say here. Number one, if anyone defends her only because of her age, then why the hell do people get Sagittarius X and Marsa get cancelled as early as 13? Haven't they done similar degenerate shits? Exactly. If these two people can act exposed, so can RTX Dashie. Number two, if anyone says that it's all the past, is it really? She hasn't changed one bit from her actions, no matter how much we try to get to her change. Someone can do an evil deed and then 5 seconds later it says it's already all the past. Same logic in it. And number three, if I hear any of you calling these victims pedophiles, I wish the worst to happen to you. Now, without further ado, let's begin. You know the saying that goes, kids should not be allowed on the internet. That's going popular everywhere, right? Perhaps Dashie is one perfect example that represents this saying. Her bio literally says that she is the cutest DJ in the world. Is she really this cute? Cause I can proudly rate a solid 0 out of 10, thanks to the fact that she's literally built like a whale. With piranhas would swim away. No wonder she gets bullied in school, and no one will even want to date her except for her brain dead boyfriend who goes under the alias of random guy, and maybe some predators who would fall for this easy bit of a bio. But other than that, this is just a mockery and far from who Dashie actually is, cause her personality is literally just no better. Like, which 13-year-old act like 3, am I right? But what if I tell you that Dashie isn't always like this? Or is she? Let's take a trip down the memory lane back to 2025, which is the year where the NCS community drama was at its peak. I've met her since mid-2025 when she was the queen of JFLR records. I thought oh, she's such a cool female producer and obviously I want to be friends with her. Yes, people will love her music. I think she's so much capable than other artists at such a young age. This proves my point, the fact that she wasn't always this bad. But unfortunately, my mindset would then change around late 2025. At December 2025, when I exposed Algiman for being a potential, and ever since then, Dashie has gotten herself actively involved in the drama, calling him crazy, then spamming comments telling Algiman to shut up in a not so funny way. She could not do it herself, and goodness knows how Algiman reacted. Now of course we then see Dashie making a post and a lot of comments crying about it, and because of how hated Algiman is nowadays thanks to the very long crash out post he made which I'm not gonna elaborate why he even made it in the first place. All the support goes to her instead. You can check in the description for the link of my good friend Red Galaxy's video on why Algiman is a bad person. I mean, why talk about him bullying Dashie when she's literally spammed a lot of brain rot, which is a whole new level of brain dead? And all this while the drama was about to die down, Dashie randomly thought it was a good idea to make some long ass comments to others trying to get NCD aka Audrey to peace with Algiman, even though he did nothing wrong. That alone already says how trustworthy she really is. Literally no one invited to the party, bro, only to want to leave it. Cause apparently after she has been caught, she now says it's quote unquote an accident. Typing a long paragraph apparently equals to an accident. Is that how it is? No. This is straight up betrayal. surrendering during a winning position. After I called her out and rejected her fake as apologies, which is not even an apology by the way, she's just constantly begging for forgiveness. She then became extremely emo and had dark thoughts. All because of internet drama, which is your fault for even starting. It's crazy to think about it. Now of course, let's not forget to mention that fact that her boyfriend, random guy who supposedly faked being hacked by Algiman, decided to not only call me a scumbag, which is totally misspelled by the way, but also trying to defend RTX Dashie's wrongdoings using a bunch of lies. Of course, later on we can see that the drama eventually died down in like 1 month and they decided to forgive RTX Dashie and allow her back to our friend group. Little did we know that things are going to get a lot worse from here once she decided to join Discord. And goodness only knows what type of shit she's gonna do there. RTX Dashie has a history of leaking a lot of ERR info to the internet. One example is where she leaked her classmates' DMs with her and also his Discord username, with a bunch of multiple first names being leaked too. As you can see from these screenshots, she is so easily affected by bullies and even friends aligning with bullies, and that expects us to handle her shit like we are free therapists from Tamil. And as a victim of bullying myself since like 7th to 8th grade, even though I truly do not like condone bullying at all, doxing them is a really terrible move and can land you in a lot of trouble. And now you know what I think of this bullying situation now. You know, people gonna flame me on this comment section for this, but this is just an opinion of mine. She, low-key, deserved it. If you, RTX Dashie, really go on to dox people on the internet, act like a whiny bastard over small things or online, have such a shitty personality where you can literally be made fun of easily yet never change, maybe you are the reason why the bullying even exists in the first place. You are the one feeding bullies the dog food they want you to feed, like a submissive you are. And keep in mind, she allegedly said that she wants to be weak. And what if I tell you that these people aren't the only ones being doxed? Because apparently, when RTX Dashie did a face reveal one time, she mentioned that the kid pointing at her is her quote-unquote sister. Her words, not mine. And she told DJ Gubu, which by the way is one of her ex-allies, to not tell anyone. So RTX Dashie, if you don't want anybody to know that this is your little sister, why even say it on YouTube? You know the information is public and literally everyone can see it, right? This is just straight up an invasion of your own sister's privacy. Like what the hell, bro? So in case y'all haven't heard already, there was one incident which took place during when some cool musical artist who goes by the name Speed Dragon hosts a competition for artists to remix one of his songs by the seaside. There are several artists which took part in the competition, RTX Dashie included. And well, let's just say I'm one of the participants too. Now that we can see that most of the people mentioned here have put in at least a little bit of effort into remixing, regardless of whether the end result sounds good or bad. What about Dashie? Did she put in effort like the others? Well, let's take a look at the screenshots. Apparently from this result shown, it looks like RTX Dashie has been caught cheating in the remix competition using AI. Do you know how much of her own reputation you blundered just by doing that? Sure, I'm not one of these bunny bastards saying, no, AI is taking over the world and we have to stop using it. But the fact that you not only use AI to cheat, also claim that it's your own work. The absurdity in this comment here from her boyfriend is insane, cause they're just straight up defending her wrongdoing. And of course, RTX Dashie was eliminated, and a new artist named Juicy the 11th Dragon took over her position. Like everyone else, put in a lot of effort. Now, y'all might be thinking, since when did RTX Dashie even start using AI for music? I thought she produced them on her own. Well, about that, let's go back to her JFLR days in mid-2025 when she was more well respected, even while the biggest artist there in a relatively small label. You listen to any of her songs there, none of them are even AI generated at all. In fact, it looks like they have been done by a real musician, and not to mention, they were consistent. So, I wonder what caused Dashie to suddenly change her ways and perform a dishonest act, when all of us expected a lot better from her. Is it because she thinks she is too incompetent? Well, let's see. And spoiler, it gets worse from here. From these screenshots, you can clearly see that RTX Dashie was given constructive criticism and feedback about her music by Red Galaxy 5 himself. The fact that she does not want to release any of her songs thanks to the amount of criticism she has is quite less, if not more than the amount of criticism I get for my music. My music? Yes, I do make music, and I promote it from time to time on my music channel. Ever since the start of my career in 2024, I've been either praised or criticized, and that's totally fine. Every artist starts small with like 5 out of 10 songs, if not like 0 out of 10. And then a sufficient amount of criticism, they eventually get better, making as good as 8 out of 10 songs. And even though I'm a person who's highly sensitive to criticism, at least I try my best to go through with it. But the fact that RTX Dashie decided to become an emo ass and spam crying emojis and then self-reacting to it just... I don't know whether to laugh or cry about this. And after the very beautiful conversation Dashie had with Red Galaxy 5, she then made her Google Doc about people hating her music with crying anime girl and a lot more emojis being spammed. All because of one person who is so overly obsessed with fairly criticizing her music. One person, by the way. The fact that she cried about not getting a 10 out of 10 from anyone, not even from her favorites, just says so much about her shitty personality. And don't even excuse her so-called bad childhood, because I also have a bad one too. I'm not gonna share details why, because it's really bad, but maybe I'll cover that in a separate video or post. But let's move on to the next chapter, which I'm guessing is gonna be your favorite part. So there was this one time when RTX Dashie openly admitted that she had a crush on Red Galaxy, who is one of the most respected musicians in the NCS community. The fact that it was so open to like tens to hundreds of people is a huge embarrassment and just so funny to even think about. And you know why? Let's talk about the age gap. A 12-year-old at that time with a 17-year-old, a 5-year age gap with a near adult and a preteen. It is already bad enough. What if Red Galaxy 5 also love her back? You think things that are going to end well between them? Let me tell you, there are going to be more consequences. First of all, Red Galaxy will be accused of being a predator online, even if he wasn't the first one who asked to date. Second of all, I'm pretty sure he already stated like he was taken in real life. Going to this online parasocial relationship would just be straight up cheating. Obviously, like no one would in their right mind want to cheat, right? The fact that this is a long distance relationship, e-dating, where you don't even know who's behind the screen, just makes it a lot worse. So after all this, it's no one surprised that Red Galaxy will reject her, and I applaud his bravery for that. But after this, she of course went emo afterwards and then decided to go on a much safer, if not already better relationship with a fellow boyfriend, which is, you guess who? And even then, despite being taken, she still shows very freaky behavior towards the much older rankers. A color roleplay with someone who already rejected you as a joke? That's incredibly stupid and hilarious. How did the other party even react at this point? The glazing is so crazy, like what the hell? Comparing a small artist to one of the biggest artists of NCS is like one of the most mind-blowing shit I've seen from her. And keep in mind, Red Galaxy 5 wasn't the only one who got groomed by Dashie. There are in total 3 people who have shitty experiences with her, which is documented on a Google Docs link in the description below. This sick bastard literally asked for NCD's milk multiple times when he was already taken. He was 18 at that time, an adult, like it's trashy trying to be a reverse deliverer. Also, it's not just about the freaking messages. She has also done emotional blackmail in order to get people's trust more. Basically telling people like, "When I'm crying," and non-stop whining and bitching about her bullies. The fact that she expects us to be there for her while she isn't there for us is actually crazy. Who was actually there for me when I was faced with the Crown Act raiding community situation? Who was actually there for me when I vented about my real life struggles with family and school? Of course, the true friends who I'm gonna mention here. Shout out to these goals, by the way, and I thank you all to everyone else who has supported me throughout this journey. And even though you are not mentioned here, I'll probably mention normal people, but that'll be another time. Now back to topic. Was Dashie there for me, Red Galaxy, or any other person she's interacted with through a tough time? You guessed it, a big fat no. In fact, why expect the others to be comforting her all the time when she didn't even offer a single form of support for us? Not even when Red Galaxy's grandfather was literally about to pass on. That doesn't make relationships feel one-sided, does it? And talk about the fact she's in a relationship with a random guy who is also 13 years old at the time of me saying this. They all act lovey-dovey like a goody two-shoes, trying to impress people with their relationship in order to fit in and gain more popularity alongside each other in this community. So yeah, from these screenshots, they act out in public. But is this relationship even real? Was it one that was mutual care and love for each other? Well, apparently not. More screenshots here are shown to prove that spiritofwater, with Dashie's boyfriend, isn't even capable of consoling her in times of trouble. It's just dumb as shit. He got himself in this relationship. It's his duty as a boyfriend to comfort his loved one, and same goes for Dashie. Otherwise, what's a relationship without mutual respect and love? It basically be a shit show and terrible. And speaking of Red Galaxy cutting ties with RTX Dashie, there'll be another chapter that shows the arguments that happened after I finally declared my opinion on her publicly. Ephisar and boss fight, take it away. So I thought this was all over, and that she finally surrendered and apologized. And you thought the actions she has done were just merely actions done towards human beings? Of course not. First of all, she admitted to me in my DMs that she was a Christian. And of course, as a Christian myself, I did pray for her, comfort her, did everything I can. But what if I told you that this is the behavior a Christian would normally exhibit? Sure, we have all sinned before God, but number and severity of horrible shit she has done was outrageous. First, the countless amount of lying. From freaking a breakup, which is so funny I literally forgot how to laugh, to her very dishonest act in the remix competition. If you were a real Christian, how about you read the Bible, which literally says that one of the 10 commandments to not lie? And to put things worse, I've been accused of serious shit such as predatory behavior, owning a troll account, and doxing. And I'd like to ask this question, and everybody sing it with me. Where is the proof? You guessed it right. It doesn't exist. You have no evidence against me owning that account at all. So no point trying to make shit up to frame me for nothing. Oh really? Doxxing? All I see is that true account leaking what's only already public on the internet. It's your fault for leaking our own face to the public to like hundreds of people in the first place. It's so easy to slander people you hate for doing shit they didn't do, until eventually others find out that you are egg-faced degenerate yourself. And if anything, Dashie literally admitted to being a predator herself. Secondly, she talks about being slider in front of a stranger's DMs, and there are other instances of her doing so. I'll be brutally honest. If you are really having these thoughts, might as well seek therapy, talk to a parent, teacher, school counselor, etc. etc. Suicide is not a thing to joke around or attention grab in order for people to give multiple shits about you. But considering the fact RTX Dashie is a literal attention war, it's not a surprise she should say such shit on the internet that is constantly. And RTX Dashie, do you know how much of a disappointment you are always talking about life-ending situations, but I see you get to live the next day, considering you are a Christian? Us Christians actually repent for our sins and wrongdoings instead of whatever the hell went inside your walnut-sized brain. Now let's take a look at an even worse sin Dashie has committed: blasphemy. She has been countlessly putting others above God in the sense that we are better than Him, even though we are all sinners before Him. First, making a poster putting literally every known ranker of the NCS community mentioned here above God, acting like NCD aka Audrey is the God himself, and he's not. Only Jesus Christ is. And second, during an argument using God's name in vain, which is against one of the 10 commandments, another one of them. And we finally come to the part where she said the most despicable things I've ever seen in my 5 years of internet history, even worse than whatever the hell we exposed everyone else of. The Austrian painter, out of all people anyone could have imagined, being compared to God, as well as the N-word being used in the same sentence. How fucked up is in your mind could you really be to say such shit on the internet? You're literally 13 years old, like some undeveloped fetus committing the worst sins known to man. And what makes me even more mad is that her boyfriend is normalizing this behavior by hearting the comments. The most brain-dead couple I'd say. I wonder how low can these two morals even taper. And finally, after hours of confrontation, Dashie left the religion and deconverted into an atheist, or should I say Satanist. So an internet drama has pressed you to the point you suddenly want to deconvert. That's like the most hilarious shit I've seen. All because of your own wrongdoings is just insane. Let's be real. We all have a major screw up or two in our lives. I have been in the community under another alias since 2024, when I was in my more immature phase and have done some pretty bad things which I'm not gonna say. And I suffered the consequences because of that. And you don't see me turning away from God, do you? I actually apologized, left the community for the betterment of it and my mental health, and only rejoined when it was time I tried saving it from more drama than before. But what about Dashie? Has she done any of this? Apparently not. Instead of acknowledging her mistakes, she decided to turn away from God. Koji did the same, and said I don't even know if he's Christian or not. And now, RTX Dashie, what the actual hell do you gain from all the stunts you have put? You absolute excuse of a subhuman being. Talk about betrayal, doxing, dishonest musical acts, grooming, blasphemy, and more. Has your career risen or burned into ashes? I think everyone in this community can say that the latter happened. Starting now, whenever someone searches the name RTX Dashie in the YouTube search bar, instead of seeing your music, they now see 2 videos exposing you for your horrible, generic actions, and immediately click on them to find out the dark truth about you. Even a few years after where you more mature, which I doubt that will ever happen. The past continue to haunt you for good, but to the point you might get registered as an offender. Hope all shit you did was worth it, my sister in Christ. Well, not really sister. More like Satanism worship Satan in a bunker daily. And to conclude everything, what can you do as a viewer. I won't force you to do it, but it really helps a ton. Unsubscribe from all of RTX Dashie's channels, link in description. Cancel all sorts of collabs you have with her, and do not participate in new ones. And finally share this video and regalax this video to the masses if you find it helpful, so that scumbags like her will be eliminated and never return to the community again. And no more of such grooming and blasphemous behavior exists here ever again. Anyways, if you made it to the end, thanks for watching and goodbye!